My mom is also sort of the, if you haven't already noticed, my mom is the inspiration for the character of Stuart's mom. And who was so brilliantly played by Mo Collins. And my mom, she would say, like, that has nothing to do with what happened. You know, like giving her due. She says no. But like for me, all I would do is on like the set of Mad TV, I would just like walk up with scripts and give them to people, and they'd be like, "This is so fucked up," and I was like, "That was so 1975." Anyway, for me, I really enjoyed doing Stuart, and I'm glad that people liked it and stuff. But I also do know that the universe has a way of letting you know when something is over and done. And that happened for me doing a Stuart sketch one time. We were shooting a Stuart sketch. We were on set, and I was in my wig, and I had my big shoes, and I had my rouge on, and my plaid shirt, and my eyes were crossed, and we were doing the scene. It was going really well, and then it came time for me to get on the floor, and I did, and I said, "Don't." And then like out of the blue, the sound guy comes out and goes, "I'm sorry, we got to cut. There's a sound issue. Not a big deal. Sorry, just a sound issue." And I was like kind of irritated because I don't like to, stop and start. But that's, the way show business works. So I was like, all right, let's do it again. And got back, applied rouge, got my wig straightened, and away we were doing the scene. And it was going really well again. We were having a lot of fun. I was going a little farther, and then finally I had to get down on the floor. And I did. And I said, "Down." And again, the sound guy comes out, he goes, "Cut, we gotta cut." And now I'm fucking mad, right? He's like, "I wanna know why we have to cut." He's like, "You wanna know?" I'm like, "Yeah, I wanna know." Like, I got street, but I'm dressed as a baby. "I wanna know." He's like, "All right, I'll tell you. Every time you kick your leg, your knee is clicking so loud it's picking up on the microphones." And yeah, it hit me like a ton of bricks, like, holy shit, I am way too old to be playing a baby. And getting older is, I don't know, it's really, I like to try and find, the humor in anything. It's really hard to find the humor in getting older because it just fucking sucks, right? Like, if you're a dude, like your balls drop. And like a good day for me is when I don't sit on my balls. Like, it's always like, oh, all right, we're all right. Do you guys all know Kathy Griffin? Yeah? Okay. So she's an old friend of mine and a very funny comic. And Kathy and I, we've known each other forever, and we've always had this little game that we've done where we'll be having a conversation, and then just out of nowhere, at a moment of Kathy's choosing, without any notification to me, she will just yell out, "Catch me," and then she will jump in the air, and I have to fucking catch her. Because that's so much fun for me. Anyway, so we've done it forever, and I hadn't seen her in a long time, and we finally ran into each other, and we're talking about stuff, and in the middle of the conversation, she just says, "Catch me," and I was like, "Catch me? What's that mean?" "Oh, fuck, right, the game." So I went to catch her, but of course I was, a little slow, so I caught her down low like this, and I don't know if you've ever had that thing happen. Like, have you ever been macheted in the back? It's the same thing. Like, have you ever been macheted from the top of your head to the tip of your heel? Sliced? Okay, so that's what fucking happened. But I was embarrassed because it meant I was older, right? So I didn't want anyone to notice. And luckily, as I let Kathy go, she was talking about her career, so she's like, blah, 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 blah. She didn't notice a thing at all. But I had to, still walk away, and it was like one of the extras in Michael Jackson's Thriller video. I was like... So I was in so much pain, I had to go see a physical therapist. Anybody here in the medical field or healthcare field? Okay, great. I would like to report somebody. His name is he works in West LA, and I was in so much pain that I had fantasized about what it was going to be like to see a physical therapist. Like, I imagined was going to be sort of swooping in on a cloud of dry ice, and just with like a funnel of pills, and he was just going to dump them in my mouth, and I was going to float away. Instead, this is what I got. I was like, what? No, I don't know if you know Kathy Griffin, but we do this game. And he was like, there are people in show business who come in here all the time. I don't care. I don't have time. Just lay on the table, pane side up. So I'm like, all right, fine. So I'm laying on the table, pane side up. And again, he does not explain a thing to me. He slides one arm in between my thighs, one arm around the back of my neck, and then presses his dick like into mine. Manipulating my spine, saying, let it go, let it go, let it go. I pop off the table like, am I on YouTube? Is this porn? Am I a porn star? And he says, how do you feel? And I go, like Jodie Foster on that pinball machine. That's how I feel. And I had to go see him for like 2 months, but I will say this, he eventually did, it all worked out because, look what I can do. There you go. I sort of feel like we get our taste in comedy very much like how we get our taste in food. You know, we end up liking whatever mama cooked up for us. So like if you're, I don't know, from an Indian family, your mom probably cooked spicy food, you grow up liking spicy food. And for me, comedically, my mom cooked up giant vats of fucked up with crazy gravy, and I was like, delicious. Yeah, like I couldn't get enough of it. I like it. I like things sick. I don't know if you noticed. So if I can, I'd like to give you a sample of my mom's cooking. All right. So my mom is a lovely lady, and she stayed at home. My dad worked, and a very idyllic childhood. And that was all great, but every once in a while, there would be a little surprise when I came home from school. I was about 7 years old, and walked in, and opened the door and said, Mom, I'm home. And I kind of heard from the distance, I'm upstairs. So I ran upstairs, and by the way, our house was like a Brady Bunch house, you know, like where upstairs was just 3 steps. Like, no architectural purpose at all, but just, fuck it, let's put some stairs here, just 3, fuck it. So, bounded up the stairs to my mom's bathroom, and there was my mom, and she had a very sad look on her face, and I said, Mom, what's wrong? And she said, this. And on her tongue was the most hideous, horrible, disgusting growth that I'd ever seen. And I said, what is that? And she said, it's cancer. And I said, oh no, what do we do? And she said, well, I want you to go into the kitchen and get a knife. I'm like, okay, what? Ran down the stairs a little less joyfully, into the kitchen and grabbed a giant knife and a roll of paper towels, because I was a scout. And I went into the bathroom to cut the cancer off my mom's tongue. You've all been there, right? It's universal story, yes? Okay. Anyway, as I went to do it, at the very last minute, my mom kind of brushed my hand aside and went like this. It was just a contact, honey. I was like, as I came to, I realized that my mom had, really given me a great gift. Number one, she felt that at age 7, I was smart enough to get the joke. And also, more importantly, you could joke about anything with her. No subject was off limits. Like, as long as it was a joke, fucking go for it, right? So I was like, let's go, let the comedy begin, lady, you're on. Let's have at it. And so my relationship with my mom largely consisted of each of us trying to mess with each other's head via comedy. So I always felt like that was a game best played out in public. So, like, we'd be at the grocery store, and every small town, everybody knew who we were. And as we were sliding the groceries and stuff, I would just sort of announce to the whole store, Mom, why don't we also buy all of your alcohol here as well? And then my mom, knowing the game was on, would go, oh, no. making her look like the craziest alcoholic that ever lived. And we're Irish Catholics. Any Irish folks in the crowd? Awesome. Good. Oh, thank God. So then you guys know, like, the way it works with the Irish is if it's bleak and dark and horrible, let's talk about that. Like, the sicker, illness is really a good one. Death, even better, of course. But as long as it's really messed up and twisted and fucked up, let's talk about that. Okay, so my mom and I were, I don't know, I think we were watching like, the Terry Schiavo case? That was the lady who was in a coma and her husband wanted to pull the plug and the family didn't. It was on the news all the time. And you remember that video of her in the hospital? Was she looking at the balloon? Were her eyes following, right? It was awful, right? Horrible. And so we're watching that like it was, I don't know, the only thing to do. And my mom kind of, after, just got silent. And I always know when she gets silent that something good's gonna come out. So she's watching the whole thing happen, and she just turns to me out of the blue and says, "Oh, that's awful. Michael, do me a favor. If I am ever in a state like that, just spray me in the face with a can of Raid." Meaning, she didn't want to linger. And that if I was any kind of good son at all, I would kill her with bug spray. Right? Okay. So, I just tucked that in the back of my mind, whatever, and just another one of my mom's gems. And my parents are getting older now, and I don't know about you guys, but this is my theory about having a conversation with an elderly parent. Having a conversation with an elderly parent is a lot like being on a game show where you have to guess the correct answer in order for the conversation to move forward at all, right? So, typical example, went to my parents' house, and my mom, "Oh, Michael, oh, thank God you're here. Thank goodness. I'm so happy. Listen, it's awful. The people that live in the, like the neighbors? Yes. What about the neighbors? Oh, it's awful. It's really awful. They, as you know, they have, and you probably saw, and it's a mess. I'm gonna take a guess and say the neighbors' trees are dropping leaves on our property? Yes. What would you like me to do? Oh, if you could talk to the guy, the little guy, the little guy. Looks like a child, but isn't. The gardener? Yes. What would you like me to tell the gardener, Mom? Well, if you could just have him, after he cleans up our yard, have him clean up the neighbor's yard, and we will pay for it. It's just, the woman next door, it's just awful. She just came down with a terrible case of, don't tell me. It's, you do not want this. Oh, Alzheimer's. So I turned to my mom and said, "Mom, is it time for me to get that can of Raid?" And my mom sort of snaps out of it and goes, No. But if you ever do ask me that question and I don't know what I'm talking about, use it. That's my mom. I went to a family reunion, and I have to say that I went obviously because I love my family very much, and also because I need material for nights like tonight. So the family reunion was very lovely. My mom organizes all that kind of stuff. Now, she's a very staunch Catholic, so she wanted to have a Catholic priest bless the family reunion. And so we did. We brought a priest. But also, because my mom is a very good hostess, and there were going to be children there, she wanted them to be, entertained. So she found a priest who could juggle. Yeah, they exist. Okay. So, and it's going very well. He's, I don't know, spinning the plates or the bowling pins, whatever he had at the time, and saying the prayers. It's all going very well. And one of my aunts turns to me and says, "Isn't your mom wonderful? She found a priest who can juggle." And I kind of turned to her and I said, I don't know. I don't know if it's that hard to find a priest who's willing to surround himself with kids and do this. So my aunt was like, what? She stomps away. I lost her, right? Okay. So I went to where the men in the family were, which for me is the bar, and the safety of it. And there was one of my uncles who I had not seen in, 10 or 15 years. And the first thing he says to me after all that time is, Michael, have you had plastic surgery? And I go, yeah, I just had my dick shortened so I could fit in with the family better. I was like, no, fuck it. I stand by that joke. I enjoyed it. So, anyway, then all of a sudden I hear from the crowd, hey, asshole! And I don't know about you, but my experience has been when I'm in a crowd and I hear the words, hey, asshole, they mean me. So I turned, it was one of my cousins, and he goes, I can't believe you said that to him. I go, why? And he goes, he just had prostate surgery. You just made a dick shortening joke to a man who just had his dick surgically shortened. I was like, how should I have known that? Should I have checked, his Facebook page? Status sad, just had dick surgically shortened. Send. And what about the whole Facebook thing and MySpace and all those social things? We know way too much about each other already. Don't you think? I hate it when somebody sends me whatever, just ate a sandwich, yum. Just shit out the sandwich from yesterday, yum. Fuck you. I sort of feel like we get our taste in comedy very much like how we get our taste in food. We end up liking whatever mama cooked up for us. So if you're, from an Indian family, your mom probably cooked spicy food, you grow up liking spicy food. And for me, comedically, my mom cooked up giant vats of fucked up with crazy gravy, and I was like, delicious. I couldn't get enough of it. I like it. I like things sick. I don't know if you noticed. So if I can, I'd like to give you a sample of my mom's cooking. All right. Do you guys remember when, in order to be famous, you had to have some kind of skill? You had to be a singer or a dancer or an athlete, right? Now you just have to be an asshole. John and Kate at +8, right? She's an asshole, he's an asshole, the kids are probably gonna grow up to be assholes. I hope they're not, but the odds aren't good, right? And then the Kardashians, you know that show, right? Why don't they call that show what it really is? Armenian whorehouse. Right? And the mom is the pimp. Right? Have you seen her? The way she's whoring those kids out. She's like, Courtney, have you had your sex tape released online yet? Well, shave your back and get to it. Let's go. And Bruce Jenner, what the hell happened to Bruce Jenner? He was on the Wheaties box, and now he looks like he is transitioning from male to female. He looks like a bird who went through a fire. It's horrible. And he's had a lot of, plastic surgery, and which he openly admits. It seems like a really nice guy, and I'm not against plastic surgery, but don't have your work done at El Pollo Loco. And then, of course, the king of all assholes is Octomom. She's getting her own show. Do you know this? Oh, you didn't know this? All right, well, I don't know. Maybe you guys are probably paying attention to the fact that we're in 2 wars. Let me tell you what's really important and happening in America. Okay, so Octomom, for those of you who don't know, she is a lady who was not married, no job, no husband, already had 6 kids, and some of them were fucked up, right? You know that. Some of them are. Okay. She has 8 more. 6, 7, 8. Like, her OBGYN had to close her vagina like it was an old-fashioned suitcase on a bed. Like, and she is training to be a therapist. Those are the facts, not the jokes. Sorry. So, how fucked up do you have to be to go to Octomom for advice? I have a family of skunks stuffed in my ass, and I thought you would be the only one who could relate. And then, you know, like, have you seen her, like, the interviews of her or whatever? Like, she's got that long, wavy, jet black hair, and this, right? And a lot of people say that she is having plastic surgery so that she can look like Angelina Jolie. I say, no, she is just growing a second vagina. Because this one said, I quit. Fuck you, lady. You're crazy. When you do stand-up comedy, you usually have to, like, if you're traveling around, you usually have to do local news or any kind of press you can to get people to come to your show. And so I was in Arizona, and they had I don't know, it was a very nice show. It was like this local guy who had been around forever. And sure enough, he was a very nice guy, but it was this real low-rent show where it was just kind of like a corner in an office, and you had like a panel where sometimes you talked with one other person. And the worst thing that you can have as a comic is to be paired with, you know, someone who's sincere. And, you know, as luck would have it, who I was also going to be interviewed with was this lady, very nice lady, who had just overcome bulimia, a lifetime of it. And I was like, you know, what are the odds? So, and Pat McMahon, you know, is this very nice guy, but he, you know, kind of not really aware of his own impact. So he was like, so tell me, honey, this bulimia thing, I mean, I just don't get it. What's it all about? I don't understand how you get to this point. Can you explain what goes on? And so the lady was just like, well, it is, it's consuming. And then I pop in, but only temporarily, am I right? Yeah, it's about how it went. I realized, like, I've got, I don't know, like, this thing happens with me where I sort of think, you know, being in comedy for as long as I have, I forget, like, what is an appropriate statement or not. So for instance, and it happens like even with my own good friends. Like for instance, I was at a dinner party with a large group of friends. There was one person at the party I did not know at the table. And that's all it takes for me is to like go into that mode. Like I gotta get them to like me. And I know I'll tell them one of my hilarious stories and they'll laugh and then they'll like me. So we were at a restaurant, and I divide restaurants into two different categories. There are nice restaurants, and then there are restaurants that allow fucking kids, right? It's not that I don't love kids. I love kids. I just think that they are safer in their cages. I mean, I think that's not me. That's Parenthood Today that says that. Anyway, so we're there, and next to us is a table with a mother, and you know, like they have these new, like, I don't know, baby carriages that are like, I don't know, lunar modules now. They're huge, and there's like, they could go over Mars with them and everything. And there's a baby in the thing, and it's going like, you know, making that horrible sound. Roughly translated from baby to adult is, I'm gonna fuck up your night, and your night, and your night. Like, so, and then the mom is drinking whatever that kind of wine is that makes them deaf to their own children's pitch, right? So everyone at my table, I was doing one of my hilarious stories, and everyone's looking over at, you know, the thing here. So I was like, yeah, I got to get them back, right? I know how I can get back their attention. I will get them back with a little joke. So I lean into my table and I go, apparently that woman doesn't realize her abortion is still alive. That's what happened. What? Are you fucking kidding me? What? What? Anybody here have a dog? your dogs. I know that's true. But I think that everybody who has a dog, they kind of, every once in a while, they will stumble across, they'll say the following. They'll be like, my dog is so smart. She is so smart. She's a really smart dog. Like, my dog isn't. My dog is fucking dumb, and so's yours. They're dogs. And that's what makes them fun. That's what makes them entertaining, is their stupidity. Every morning, without exception, about an hour after I feed my dog, she's laying down very happily, like this, and you just hear a and she looks at me with a look of holy terror, like they have let Michael Vick out of prison. Oh, wait, they did. I guess he'll get his own show soon. Asshole. I like to think of myself as a good person. I'm not, but I like to think of myself as one. And so every once in a while, I don't know, I'll like take some stuff and bring it down to the Goodwill. And I packed up my car. It beats doing laundry. I packed up my car with stuff and brought it down to the Goodwill. And up in LA where the Goodwill is, it's not a good area. Like it's called Vaseline Alley, where which I don't, the mind wanders, I'm sure. So anyway, the way it works is, you kind of drop the stuff off in the back of the store, and then that's the receiving area, whatever. So I'm pulling stuff out of my car, doing loads, and everyone in the store was like, "You are such a good person." I'm like, "I agree." And as I was making my trips back and forth, I had noticed out of the corner of my eye this homeless dude, and he's kind of sitting on the edge of one of those giant dumpsters, and he's got bare feet, and he's trying to pick stuff out of the garbage with his feet. Like, how bad is your day when you're pawing? And he's one of those, like the level of homelessness, there's varying degrees, right? Everybody has their first day of homelessness, where, like they look kind of like an extra from Mary Poppins, a little chimney soot. Hello, I'm a little homeless, right? And then obviously it gets worse over time. Like this dude he was like a member of the super homeless. He looked like Chaka from Land of the Lost. He was like, It was bad, is what I'm trying to say. So as I'm, doing my charity work, I'm passing by him. And then on my last trip, he's gone. He's not in the dumpster. And I just kind of, thought, oh, well. And then at the last minute, I'm getting ready to get into my car, and I see this, like, over the edge of the dumpster. Hey, buddy, I fell in the dumpster. I can't get out. Hey, buddy. Now, I'm a good person, but I'm not that good of a person. I'm also a germphobe. Like, and I saw that dude. It was not pretty, But, hey, buddy. I'm like, fuck, what do I do? And then I had a thought, and I go, I'm not gonna let you give up on yourself, man. I bet you can climb out of there. I believe in you. You can do it. I've been trying for a while. I haven't eaten in a while. I'm pretty weak. I'm like, fuck. This is not looking good. So finally I just go, I bet you $20 you can climb out of there. He climbs out. So, I think to myself, like, I'm happy to pay up, he earned it and everything. So I give him his $20 and he does this, "Thank you, man." And at that point I was like, dear God, please rain Purell. The economy here is horrible, as you guys all know, and like the housing market is really terrible. I really played it stupidly. I bought a house at the top of the market, and my house is now worth approximately what you guys paid for a couple of drinks. So like I would swap my house for 2 glasses of good wine at this point. And it worries me because I also, in addition to buying a house I couldn't afford, I had the kitchen and the bathrooms gutted, and I filled them with marble and all that kind of stuff. I needed a beautiful place to kill myself, is what it is. So when you see me on the local news, hanging from a Tuscan beam, there's gonna be a note on my lapel that says, "Look at the tile, it's gorgeous." So I went to an all-male Catholic school called Servite High School, right here in Anaheim. The girls' school was called Rosary High School. You guys ever heard of that? Okay, so yeah, it's in Fullerton. And to me, it's like naming a girls' Catholic school Rosary High School is a little bit of like Catholic overkill. It's like calling a Jewish college Yarmulke U. Or like, I don't know, like a Muslim soccer team, the Mad Bombers. Okay, are we all right? We're okay. We're all right. Oh, so wait, that reminds me. So I had the great honor and privilege of performing for our soldiers in Iraq. And yeah, they're the most awesome people in the world. The most awesome people in the world, and it was a great honor to do so. And the show that we did was kind of an improvised show where we made everything up based on the audience suggestions. And you know, whenever we did a scene, I would just sort of talk in the local Iraqi dialect and just be like, that was my little, you know, like if we were in a store, it'd be like, how much for this soda? I'd say $1.90 and cents, you know, whatever. So that was my little bit, my very respectful homage. To the language. And when the show was over, the show went very well. And after the show, we all sort of sat at a table, and everybody, you know, had a stack of headshots with them when we signed autographs and took pictures, and most importantly, of course, thanked the soldiers for their service. And everybody had, you know, like 100 soldiers in their line, as I did. But at the end of my line, I had something a little different, which was an Iraqi woman, and this was the look on her face. So I was getting nervous, right? And as I was signing autographs, she was just getting one closer and one closer. And I was just starting to break out in a sweat and stuff. And there was just one soldier left, and then her. And so, like, as I was signing the autograph, I said, "Thank you for keeping us safe, Sergeant." And he was like, "Thanks, Stuart," and like away he ran. I was like, so there I was, face to face with this Iraqi lady, and you know, she wasn't having it. She was mad. So she said to me, "Mr. McDonald, my name is Salim. I am a translator for the American troops. Mr. McDonald, because I do this, I jeopardize not only my life, but also the life of my entire family. Mr. McDonald, the way you make my people sound, that is not the way my people sound. They sound like this." Scared the Shiite out of me.